Good afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. This afternoon, because the weather's nice, I am going to start pickling beets. So let's get this started. I need my glasses so we can read this. Alright, I washed and cooked my beets and peeled them. I had to stick them in the refrigerator because it was really hot weather set in, so I had to wait, but they're ready now. It's cool enough where I can do this. Alright, in a pot, well, we're going to need a little pouch or cheesecloth. I have these little pouches I bought at the store. They're really nice. We're going to add a tablespoon of mustard seeds. Wait a minute, cover with boiling water. Yeah, I did that. Oh no, we're not. We're not using one of these. I am so sorry. We're not using that. In a pot, we're going to add a tablespoon of mustard seeds. I have another recipe that's a little different than this one, but I'll have to keep track of which one I'm doing. I've made them both. We need a teaspoon of whole allspice. Put that up. So we're putting this in a saucepan. And we need a teaspoon of whole cloves. I had to go out and buy seasonings. I was out of just about everything. Oh yeah, this will fit in there nice. We need 1 teaspoon of salt. Now when you're canning, you have to use canning soda. If you use any other salt, it changes the color of your food and everything else because they add other chemicals into it. So 1 teaspoon, and you can buy it at Amazon. That's where I get mine. Okay. Cinnamon sticks, we need 3 cinnamon sticks. Now this recipe tells me to break them up, but I couldn't find them, so I'm going to leave them whole so I can find them. You're eating cinnamon sticks for the whole year. My son would say, what is wrong with this? I said, they said break them up. Then we couldn't find the cinnamon sticks, so leave your cinnamon sticks whole. All right, you need 2½ cups of apple cider vinegar. 2½ cups. And all this is going in a pot. We're going to bring it to a boil. And we'll dice the beets up and we'll be putting it in there. It's just I have books and stuff out right now. This is when I'm going to start canning and pickling stuff. I was going to pick up some okra and pickle them today, but I said no. I've got too much to do, so we're doing a little different. And you're going to add 1½ cups of cold water to this. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's a little crowded here. Now we're going to have to get 2 cups of sugar. We're going to put in the pot as well. Oh, you'll be over in a minute. we're going to need 3 cups of thinly sliced onions, and they're talking about medium-sized onions. So if you have a large one, compensate for it. Okay. These are pretty big onions. I have to compensate for this. Okay. Now, just to show you, let me put the beets over here right now. I haven't cut them yet. Just to show you that this is what I'm doing. We're going to put the onions in this pot before we turn it on. Let's see, everything is right here in the pot right now. I'm getting everything together. You're going to thinly slice these onions. I am going to cut mine in half moons, so they like to leave them in circles. I do half moons. It's easier for me. And you're just going to throw them into the pot. And these are delicious. I have one son who sits there and you just eat the whole jar. And he wants to eat it as soon as I make it. I said, no, they've got to sit. This is why I'm doing them now. So they'll be ready when we're ready for them. Like when I do the pickled okra, I'm going to sit there and do those next week. I've got tomato sauce still, but I need some tomatoes canned. And when I can, be there with you. I like pickled okras. You could just sit down and eat those, but they're nice. And because they're vinegary, they help keep your body alkaline during the winter. And if your body is alkaline, you can't get sick. Now, if you don't like pickled vegetables and stuff, what you can do is get apple cider vinegar and put a teaspoon in a cup of boiled water and drink that every day. Because alcohol causes your body to go acid. Medication causes your body to go acid. Drugs cause your body to go legal and illegal. And you wonder why people get sick, and that's why they use so many antibiotics. I have my jars already in water, and I'm bringing it to a boil in the pot that's going to be canned. Now they recommend when you take your jars, you either put them on a towel or your cutting board. Do not put them on your counter because they can crack, because they're going to be at 220 degrees. And you put them on a counter, they have a good chance of cracking. So they don't want them to crack, so they strongly recommend that you do that. Okay, we've got all of that done. I think it's time to cut the beets. Now, if you have little beets, you can use little beets. I don't. I just bought what I could find, so I've got a whole bunch of beets and cut them up because they're going to be going into this. Turn your flame on to the onions and the seasonings and water and stuff. You're going to bring this to a wrong spoon. Oh God. Nope, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Nope, that's not the one I want either. You're going to bring this to a boil, then we're going to reduce the heat and simmer for 5 minutes before we add the beets in. So I have got to cut these beets up now because we're going to have to use them. And as you can see, I'll turn you down. So I have that on the stove, the seasonings and stuff. They're getting ready. I have beets here. So if you can't find little beets, you can use regular sized beets. Just cook them and then just dice them up. Well, they say 4 pounds of beets only makes 3 pints. I'm not sure. So I just put 6 pint jars in. And if it uses 3, then I'll be fine. If it doesn't, that'll be it. I'll just use them. So if it stays 80, I can get a lot of canning done. The meals I usually do in towards the end of September into October, and I'll get those done, and then we'll have meals for the winter. When your herbs and onion and stuff come to a boil, we're going to turn it down and simmer 5 minutes. That's why I'm rushing to get my beets cut. Still got more. Make sure the sugar doesn't stick to the bottom and crystallize. I couldn't believe it got so hot when I bought the beets. I said, oh God. So I decided, since they were already cooked and the heat was climbing, and I had the kitchen near 115, it was just too hot. I stuck it in a coat, I put them in a bowl, waited until they just room temperature, and then I put a lid on it and I stuck it into the coldest part of my refrigerator. Okay, let me move this so you can see where I'm at in this cooking. You can see I'm right here, bringing this to a boil. Make sure your jars are on the tray in your pressure canner, water bath canner, because if you don't, they will break. They need something so they're not directly on the bottom of your pot. And this is where you have high flames and it gets very hot in the kitchen. So you have to be very, very careful. And what else do they want us to do? All right, once we bring this to a boil, we're going to simmer it for 5 minutes. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it simmer. And we're going to, after 5 minutes of simmering, we're going to add the beets, and then we're going to cook them till they're hot straight through, and then we're going to start canning. Come on. That'll get it to a boil. That's when I rush it. I'll throw the lid on it. Okay, we need a cutting board. Remember what I told you? I'm eating cherries. I bought them today. They were good. You're going to have to sit there and put a towel or a cutting board with jars to sit on because they're going to be very hot when they come out. I even had to buy a new water bath can. The other one rusted straight through. Oh my. So I'll be back as soon as that comes to a boil. Okay, it came to the boil, so I turned it down to simmer, and now it's got to simmer 5 minutes, and then we'll get the beets in there and finish up. Okay, now it's time to add our beets. And you can actually smell the pickling spices of the beets. Now, you're going to put all your beets in, which is about 4 pounds. What we're going to do is heat these through completely. Oh, we love these. These are really good. Oh, that's almost to a boil. When it comes to a boil, I know that's 220. We're going to heat these up. Now, because my beets are cold, I'm going to have to heat them up a little longer. But if yours are room temperature, it won't take that much to heat them up. Well, mine were a little chilled. I mean, pickled okras are really, really good. I canned some okras. They're great to put into cornmeal mush. They're also great they're already cooked to put into a chicken gumbo and stuff. So those are nifty as well. I got my 3 new cookbooks I've been going through. I'm gonna have to order some stuff. Did you ever hear of black garlic? I just got it. I had never heard of it. It said it's a very unique flavor. So I'm looking forward to trying it. So I'm just waiting for the beets to heat up, and I will be back. That's it. You just have to wait till they come to a boil and the beets are hot. So we'll have the hot jars and we'll have the hot beets and we'll start canning this. Okay, I'm going to be bringing the jars out. Just give me a minute. They're very hot. And the beets are all hot. Too much water. Let me see if I can get you a little higher so you can see, so I can get this going. To have to find the cinnamon sticks. Here's one. You don't throw your cinnamon sticks out. So I'm going to be looking for my cinnamon sticks. Believe me, this is very hot. Cinnamon sticks, you've got to be here somewhere. They're probably in the bottom. Now you're going to have a 1/4 inch head space. That means just 1/4 from the lid. When you put the lid on, your lids and stuff should be already washed. It's hot. But I do have extra here, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll just put it in the refrigerator. This is when it gets hairy. What I'm doing is actually wiggling them down so I can get more packed into the jar. I'm not debubbling yet because I don't have all the liquid in yet. But see, I've made room to add more beets. Ah, here's another cinnamon stick. I just threw it back in. And there's the other one. You see, this is why the kitchen gets so hot, because you have the flame on. You really have it quite high, because everything's on high. To make sure that you pickle these and they seal up very nicely. And this is why it's so hot in the kitchen when we do this. Let's see how much more room I can give it. If there's any more room. That one's really packed. You see, I'm already getting hot from this. It's really hot. very, very carefully. We're still debubbling. I'm just trying to make room here to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be. As they say, 1/4 inch headspace, and that's not much. So debubbling is to get the air bubbles out. Now what we're going to do is wipe this rim down so they can seal. If you don't do this, they're not going to seal. And in spite of everything that you do, sometimes they just don't seal. But you make sure you do as much as you can to make sure they do seal. God, it's hot. You keep the water on high, and I still have mine on high in spite of me doing all of this. It's still going. Add your extra vinegar into it. This is to make sure that your jars stay clear. If you don't, they're not going to be clear. Now they said this only makes 4 pints. Now you see, oh, I got 6. They say about 4 pounds of beets. Not push that bubble down. That's how you're going to know if your jar is sealed tomorrow morning. Because when you take them out, the bubble's still going to be up, but as they cool, if you did everything right, tomorrow morning that bubble should be down, and then you know they're sealed. Then you can take the rims off, wash your bottles. Now I'm going to put these on the tray and get them in the water. Okay, we have done all of that. Now what you have to do is let that come to a royal, I call it royal, but it's called a rolling boil. I mean, it's got to really be boiling. Your jars have to be at least an inch under the water so the whole thing can seal up. And we are going to be doing this for, once it comes to a boil, I'll show you what it looks like. We will be clocking it for 30 minutes. So let's get that up and going, and then we'll see. Okay, you see that? Now I'm going to clock it for 30 minutes, and I will be back. Okay, it has been 30 minutes. You open this lid away from you. It's that hot, it will scald you. these up. There they are. I'll show you, because all that's left is to take them out, so I'm bringing you all the way over here so you can see. There they are. They are beautiful. Now you're going to probably see me walk back and forth and get them out of there. You know what? I'm going to move this to the front burner. Easier for me. But here they are. Beautiful. Well, that's pretty much it till tomorrow morning. So what you're going to do is you're going to take them out, put them on towel, leave them alone till tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, check. If the bubble is down, they're sealed. If the bubble is still up, they did not seal. You have to get them in the refrigerator. Also, when they seal, you can take the rim off, wash the whole jar, dry it, then mark the date and what's in it, because if you don't, you're going to get confused. Well, sometimes when you're canning, some jars, if it gets too hot where they're at, the bubble will pop and the seal will break. You have to throw those out. Do not eat them. So I'm going to wash my pot out. It's a bit hot. And listen, you enjoy your evening. Take care. Bye-bye.